There's been a lot of investment in technology to try to overcome cybercrime and cybercriminal activity generally. We've seen the evolution from simple passwords to complex passwords to two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication. Zia, at Callsign, you're using behavioral modeling to make sure someone is who they say they are, built on machine intelligence. Why are these behavioral models so important and make such a big difference?
We've been trying to get people to prove that they are who they say they are through proxies. And those proxies are a password that you remember and hopefully nobody else knows of. It might be your fingerprint. A lab in China which proved that literally from you just putting your finger on anything and them getting a picture of that fingerprint, they can essentially create a 3D model which can trick any smartphone and they can get into your phone within 20 minutes on a mass scale. We've turned that on its head a little bit and said, just because someone has knowledge of or has possession of or is able to mimic one of those proxies, or even multiple of those proxies, doesn't mean that it's you. So essentially what we found is that the way that people actually interact with a screen, whether that's a desktop, a laptop, a smartphone, tablet, that really is a true indicator of whether or not you're dealing with a genuine person or not. And what I mean by that is that we are essentially measuring muscle memory. So we're measuring how you think about and therefore how you might type your password. So on the timings, people call them dwell times and flight times and all this type of stuff. There's all of these different things. Do you tend to hold down shift or caps lock? Do you do it left, right, etc., etc.? Very difficult to mimic. Even if you mimic 3 data points or 4 data points, or let's say you had 5 data points, which would be many factors of authentication in the classical world. This is based on hundreds, thousands of data points. You've essentially got to be able to clone people.
As you're building these comprehensive behavioral models of an individual to validate that they are who they say they are, but in the modern world of GDPR and compliance, have you gotten any pushback around privacy concerns on this technology?
The ways in which you can build these models, you can do it in a way whereby actually you're not storing the absolute data. So you're storing relative values as opposed to absolute values. As an example of that, we know if someone is in a recognized location or on a recognized device. By recognition, we don't mean that we know the exact GPS coordinates or even we want to know the exact GPS coordinates of where your home is or where your office is or even your commute path might be. But we just need to know that you are somewhere where you regularly are. The back end of the platform doesn't need to know exactly what the strength of your wrist is or exactly what the size of your hand is or where you're currently located. It just needs to know, is it the same as before? That's how we're building privacy into the design of what we're doing.